In a historic vote that took place this morning, members of the Senate joined their colleagues in the House of Representatives to pass a landmark health insurance reform package.
Now it's down to two. Tonight, Senator Barack Obama and Senator Hillary Clinton face to face in what could be their most important debate yet. A lot has been said since we last gathered in this forum, certainly since in the few days since you two last debated. Senator Clinton, in your comments especially, the difference has been striking. And let's begin by taking a look.
So shame on you, Barack Obama. It is time you ran a campaign consistent with your messages in public. That's what I expect from you. Meet me in Ohio. Let's have a debate about your package.
Senator Clinton, we're here in Ohio. Senator Obama is here. This is the debate. You would agree the difference in tone over just those 48 hours was striking.
Well, this is a contested campaign. And as I have said many times, I have a great deal of respect for Senator Obama, but we have differences. And in the last several days, some of those differences in tactics and the choices that Senator Obama's campaign has made regarding flyers and mailers and other information that has been put out about my health care plan and my position on NAFTA have been very disturbing to me. And therefore, I think it's important that you stand up for yourself and you point out these differences so that voters can have the information they need to make a decision. And unfortunately, it's a debate we should have that is accurate and is based in facts about my plan and Senator Obama's plan, because my plan will cover everyone and it will be affordable. And on many occasions, independent experts have concluded exactly that. And Senator Obama's plan does not cover everyone. It would leave, give or take, 15 million people out. So we should have a good debate that uses accurate information, not false, misleading, and discredited information, especially on something as important as whether or not we will achieve quality, affordable health care for everyone. That's my goal. That's what I'm fighting for, and I'm going to stand up for that.
I do want to focus on the issue of health care, because Senator Clinton has suggested that the flyer that we put out, the mailing that we put out, was inaccurate. Now, keep in mind that I have consistently said that Senator Clinton's got a good health care plan. I think I have a good health care plan. I think mine is better. But I've said that 95% of our health care plan is similar. I have endured, over the course of this campaign, repeated negative mail from Senator Clinton in Iowa, in Nevada, and other places, suggesting that I want to leave 15 million people out. According to Senator Clinton, that is accurate. I dispute it, and I think it is inaccurate. On the other hand, I don't fault Senator Clinton for wanting to point out what she thinks is an advantage to her plan. The reason she thinks that there are more people covered under her plan than mine is because
through all the debate, through all the ups and downs, through all the screaming and shouting and hyperbolic sign-wielding that dominated, say, the month of August, the American public has been and remains in support of the public option. And so, naturally, Democrats are reportedly dropping it.
What specific part of this Senate deal, at least as much as we know of it, what part of it concerns you the most?
Well, the lack of competition. The only way we're going to keep premiums down is to have competition against the private insurance industry. And they are, from what I can see, they are offering nothing over in the Senate that will compete with private industry.
So this was one of the alternatives being considered when the Senate's latest version sort of dropped the public option as we know it.
Sometimes people try to act like facts don't matter. You know, facts kind of get in the way of soaring rhetoric or political combat. But facts are stubborn, and facts actually reflect the reality of what's going on in people's lives.
He understands one thing: the American people put him here to solve the problems that were created however and by whoever they were created.
What's it going to cost a person at the age of 55 to 64 to buy into Medicare? Claire McCaskill, the senator from Missouri last night, was optimistic, saying to be about $400 a month. And then the New York Times today said, quote, this much seems clear. Anyone who wants to buy the same health care benefits as members of Congress or to buy coverage through Medicare should be prepared to fork over a large chunk of cash, seeming to indicate it would be more expensive than, say, $400 a month.
No, it won't be as cheap as $400 a month.
Insurance companies, as indicated to that email to Ben Smith, are already declaring, in some cases, at least one case, victory.
Let's just get everybody together. Let's get unified. The sky will open. The light will come down. Celestial choirs will be singing. And everyone will know we should do the right thing and the world will be perfect. I have no illusions about how hard this is going to be. You are not going to wave a magic wand and have the special interest disappear.
Well, what we know from the sources talking to us is that the White House view has been for quite some time that it was not committed to something like a buy-in at 55 and up, which is what was talked about last week, where people above age 55 could purchase, pay the premiums, and be covered under something that would be a part of Medicare, and that would be sort of a public option in the view of some liberals. And the White House's view is that that is not a must-have. Now, once you hear that, read between the lines.
And what Senator Obama has said, that then once you get to the hospital, you'll be forced to buy insurance. I don't think that's a good idea. We ought to plan for it, and we ought to make sure we cover everyone. That is the only way to get to universal health care coverage. That is what I've worked for 15 years, and I believe that we can achieve it. But if we don't even have a plan to get there, and we start out by leaving people, you'll never, ever control costs, improve quality, and cover everyone.
And a penalty grows to $750 if you don't buy insurance you can, quote, afford, unquote. How is that in the short term, or if it says anything like that in the long term, how is that supposed to help people who can't afford insurance? What am I missing?
According to the deal struck by Senate Democrats last night, if we do have a public option now, I'm going to have to go find that thing I threw across the studio 6 weeks ago. If we do have a public option now, it's going to have a trigger, the maybe someday trigger. That was the one further watering it down compromise they hadn't given away at that point. Now they've given that away too.
Now, my late father used to say, watch what they do, not what they say. And that actions speak louder than words.
Plus, health care. With Christmas and the holidays looming just ahead, the Senate turns to pragmatism, getting as much of the loaf as possible. It looks like the public option, at least as it's been described so far, won't be part of the package. Then again, candidate Barack Obama never promised a public option, and he's about to give America what liberals have been promising since Franklin Roosevelt. Okay, how will it change America for the better to pass a health care bill? I'm going to give you half a minute here, but what is so good about this? The promise delivered of the Democratic Party for all these years, going back to FDR. What are you going to deliver to the American people here?
If it were so easy that all you did was show up in Washington and say, let's change. I think I would have figured that out a while ago.
Well, no one's going to be really happy here. That's the process of legislating. It's about compromises, and I think the president really helps here. You know, people need to step back and remember, so many things this president is doing is what he campaigned on. This is what he said, and he said no universal health care, no single-payer health care. He said that during the campaign, that he was opposed to single-payer.
I never said that we should try to go ahead and get single payer.
I happen to be a proponent of a single payer universal health care plan.
What I said was that if I were starting from scratch, if we didn't have a system in which employers had typically provided health care, I would probably go with a single payer system.
That's what I'd like to see. But as all of you know, we may not get there immediately, because first we've got to take back the White House, and we've got to take back the Senate, and we've got to take back the House.
I never said that we should try to go ahead and get single payer.
Single payer health care plan, universal health care plan. That's what I'd like to see.
Can we just have a sort of a reality break for a minute? Because I think that it is important to make some kind of an assessment of these statements.
Whacking them over the head as the president did last night. Was this just PR for our benefit?
So, yes, the American people were failed by a president who didn't tell the American people the whole truth, a president who squandered the unity of this country and our standing in the world. But the American people were also failed by the majority of Congress that didn't ask hard questions.
There's a big difference between Senator Obama and me on health care. I have a health care plan that covers every single American. He does not. I have a health care plan that will leave no Americans out. He, by his own admission, leaves at least 15 million Americans out. It's been kind of confusing following his description of his own plan. If you go back and look, he said it was universal. He said it was sort of universal. He said it wasn't universal. He said he covered everybody. He said he didn't cover 15 million. He has a mandate for kids. Now he's against mandates. I think you're going to have to ask him what his plan actually does.
Well, I hate to say it, but anyone who's been arguing against the public option has been doing the bidding of the insurance industry. You know, they're the only ones that really benefit from the status quo. All the rest of us, the taxpayers, people paying for insurance policies, we're just giving more and more money to that industry.